Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fantasy NBA Today, a sports ethos presentation brought to you by our great partners at FanDuel. My name is Aaron Bruski, and with me is the great Steve, Dr. A. Alexander. And today we're going to get you guys caught up after a fairly busy Thursday night. And holy moly, later today we'll get you caught up on a 12-game Friday night. And as usual, today we will start a show with a check-in on Dr. A's My Guys, as well as my Bruski 150 players of last night. We'll go through top ads. We'll visit the drop zone. Doc, how the hell you doing, sir?
I'm good. I watched the Michael Vick 30 for 30 last night. Forgot how fast that dude was. Unbelievable. You were in the pregame show. You were talking about how quick somebody has. I was like, quick. Michael Vick was unbelievable. So I enjoyed that. I hadn't seen that in a while. It was nice trip down memory lane.
Yeah, for the record, I was talking about how quick Andre Drummond was. And I think Vic might have a few steps on that guy. Let's get through today's news. We got a ton to go through, so we're going to kind of just get right to it here. Jimmy Butler missed yesterday's game, I believe with a butt injury, but it could have been anything else. Draymond Green, he left the arena in a walking boot, so not great there. Trace Jackson Davis started the second half for him. The injuries are piling up for Golden State. Outside of Moses Moody and Brandon Pajemski, if you had one Warrior to add right now, Doc, who would he be and why?
I think it would be TJD. Just based on what we've seen him do in the past. I was a fan of his when he played at Indiana. And, Steve Kerr does not like the guy and really buried him last year. I remember Rick complained about it almost every day for the first 2 months. And it was annoying, and it is annoying, and there's no guarantee that anyone really steps up. But I think if I had to put my money on one guy, it would be Trace Jackson Davis, especially since he got to start. I mean, I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I actually I have a special Warrior to shout out in the ads department, so I will tease that, and then I will get to your most painful news topic of the day. Luka Doncic out tonight. How you feeling over there, Doc?
I saw it on my notifications on my phone, and I was like, oh, hopefully that's just from yesterday. But it was said 4 minutes ago on it, and I was like, that's not good. So I guess it's personal again, Brew?
Sure, it is. I mean, but it could be anything.
And I wonder what's going on there. Hopefully everything is okay. But
I would think so. But he's always a little banged up, so you never know. He could get a little 2-for-1 there. But
probably not a bad idea for him to be getting some rest at this point,
especially with LeBron James not yet playing in back-to-back games. LeBron had his double-digit scoring streak ended last night. That was a really cool thing. Actually, the game-winning shot going to Rui Hachimura and LeBron passing up on keeping that streak going. The streak's longer than most players have played in the NBA. I think there's 24 players, if I'm correct, that have played more games in their career than the total of LeBron's streak. So just a big shout out to LeBron for really, it's a signature play, man. Everybody, this is this guy for making the pass at the end of the game, especially early in the first 5 to 10 years of his career. And there he goes, passing into a game-winning shot. So shout out LeBron. Do you want to comment on anything else Lakers related?
Right well, I was going to talk about LeBron a little later, but I'm just going to do it right now. Dude had 8 points and 11 assists and hit 4 of 17 shots. And when I heard that his streak was broken, my initial thought was, man, they jerked him around. It didn't give him enough minutes and didn't give him the ball because there was no Luka. Like, I had LeBron in my FanDuel lineup. I had LeBron going off last night, and it just didn't happen. But it was none of those things. I mean, it just was it was like
didn't make any shots.
It was a natural bad game for him, and he failed to score 10 points. It just is what it is. But yeah, the fact that he hit Rui with that pass was pretty cool. And Lakers got a big win, man.
Well, the thing that's on my mind is LeBron maybe not officially LeBron anymore. And as I was looking at this box score, I think it was like 3 of 16 or 4 of 17. 3 of 16 sounds about
4
right.
of 14, I think.
4 of 14. Okay. He had enough shots.
4 of 17. 4 of 17.
4 of 17. Yeah. He had enough shots. And I guess I was actually looking at that. I was like, okay, cool. Like you're involved in the box score. It's been really, really low level stuff for LeBron since getting back. And my next thought was, okay, the guy didn't have a preseason / first month of the season. This is his training camp. And wouldn't it be not that surprising if LeBron used these first 5 or 6 games as his training camp and then is back to being early to mid round at worst, LeBron James, and folks would be panicking and selling high on his name value, or maybe avoiding buying low? Because right now, I think if you have LeBron, you're really seriously wondering, am I going to get anything good out of LeBron this season, given his age? And I think I'm on the side of if I had to bet one way or another, it would be LeBron's going to be productive for the rest of the season. So, but it's tough. It's a tough bet right now. Kelly Oubre to miss.
I like the fact that you questioned LeBron. Like, I feel like that's the key, right? Like, you said it, Brew. Like, I wonder if LeBron has lost it. I wonder if we will never see the same old LeBron again. And I think that stuff like that is all it takes to get him going. So,
right.
I would be very surprised if LeBron doesn't start going off at some point.
It's one of those things where a mere mortal, he's going to get hurt at some point, and LeBron's just never really been hurt. And the idea of sciatica getting in there and actually finally, chopping down one of the greats, it's got to happen at some point. Father Time is undefeated, but LeBron seemed to get around that so far. Kelly Oubre to miss at least one more week. Is he worth a stash, Doc?
I've got him on an injured reserve spot on a couple teams. Yeah, I think he's worth an injured spot if you've got one, for sure. He was playing well before he went down.
Yeah, I don't have the splits for Philly in front of me, but they certainly played a lot better with him than without him. And one of the unsung heroes of that early season push. And Oubre, I've got him in places where holding players is punitive. And I'm probably going to hold, even though I did think this injury was fairly bad. There's got to be probably maybe a 2 to 3 week return around there somewhere is kind of what I'm thinking right now. And then they will want him back in the lineup is my guess. And we'll deal with all of that stuff, for the surrounding players whenever it happens. But I would say he is worth a stash. Derek Lively, without a timetable for return, where you going to hold him? I feel even bad asking the question, but are you going to hold him?
No, he doesn't have a timetable. I'm out.
What about Gafford? I think Gafford's probably the more important question here. He feels like he's hanging by a thread as well. Are you going to hang on to Gafford through this?
I haven't really watched Dallas very much, and I haven't really watched or been paying that much attention to Gafford because I don't have him anywhere. Dallas is Dallas. But the other day when we were talking, you were giving me the impression that you were worried about Gafford being like out for a while, but he's healthy right now, right? Like, is he good?
I definitely wouldn't call him healthy. I think what we're seeing in Philly and Dallas is both players, or both center positions, throwing whatever they can with their players to just keep guys on the floor. With Dallas, Gafford has been going out there when I really didn't think he should be playing. He's questionable for tonight's game with his right ankle. I'm just thinking, like, they go, all right, we got Anthony Davis back. Okay, Gafford, all right, we can maybe give you a little bit of time off. We don't need to throw you out on the court as much as we have. But when Davis was out and Lively's out, they're looking at Gafford and saying, hey, you're the only thing between us and losing a ton of games, even more than we've already lost. So Gafford, get on out there, and Gafford's more than willing to do it. And then he just plays to the edge and he can't play anymore. And then he gets banged up and or hurt. And then he's going to have to rely on Anthony Davis to carry the load here. And then hopefully get a little bit healthy. But I just think he's going to be at the razor's edge of tipping over all season long. Looks like we did get an update here.
Mike Curtis posted that PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford were both nowhere to be found at shoot-around today. So that obviously leads us to believe neither one of those guys might be playing tonight.
With PJ, maybe a little bit more faith that he could actually not attend shoot around and then play in this game. And actually, let me flip that. I got that flipped in my mind. I don't know about PJ. Daniel Gafford makes sense to not throw out there at shoot around, because when that ankle is like that, it's literally every step counts. So he's probably got his feet up somewhere. And if they're going to play him, they're just going to decide if it's good enough to go or not. But keeping him off the foot, with all the travel and all the different things, it's primary goal number one. So Gafford, I don't think this is newsworthy for. I think Washington it is newsworthy for, but at the same time, he's younger and he might be able to bounce back. He's been playing a huge role for them. And no PJ Washington just opens it up for the rest of the rotation, which we will talk about later. Let's see here. I don't think we have any other news. I sort of lost my spot in the rundown here, but with that said, hello, new listeners. Welcome to Fantasy NBA Today. If you guys are listening on a podcast feed, just quickly hit the subscribe button, and that will make sure that you get all of our news each and every day. Let's get to Dr. A's Players of the Night. Who you got, Doc?
I'm going to shout out our guy Noah Clowney, man. Last night he went off. He had 29 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 3 blocks, 3 threes, hit 8 of 15 shots. He scored 18 or more points in all 3 of his December games. He had that one dud at the end of November where he had 6 points, 1 rebound, and a couple threes and nothing else. And it was like, ooh, that's kind of scary. But every other game he's played in recent memory has been a delight, Aaron, just a real delight. And that game he had last night was massive against Utah. I think Clowney needs to be rostered everywhere at this point.
Yeah, you've been aggressive this morning, Doc. You gotta call me by my first name. You got another player you want to talk about?
Austin Reeves, another huge game. And anytime that Luka or LeBron are out, you want some Austin Reeves. Last night he had 44 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, 10 something, and 5 3-pointers. And now tonight we get no Luka and no LeBron. What is Austin Reeves going to do against the Celtics tonight? I don't know, but man, he looks fantastic.
That's B150 greatness right there. I can't say enough about Austin Reeves that I haven't already said. That LaRavia stuff, those two are buddies, and they need to get his numbers up. And I think Jake LaRavia is going to have another run there. It's going to be good stuff for Jake LaRavia. You got anybody else you want to shout out, Doc?
Derek White was awesome. 37-9. Great game for him. One of his better games this season. There's times I look at Derek White's numbers. It's like, do I really want to trust him as an expensive play in FanDuel? And I usually shy away from him, but last night would have been a good time to roll him out there. He goes again tonight. Classic Lakers-Celtics matchup.
I want to test a Doc theory here. So it looks like Luka missing multiple Lakers games to be in Slovenia for birth of second baby.
There it is.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that? Your guy Luka missing work to be there for the birth of the child.
Well, I mean, the key to this whole thing is Slovenia. Brew, you're trying to get me in trouble, aren't you? You're gonna get the 3 ladies that listen to this podcast are all gonna hate me after this. But no. No, I mean, if you're in Slovenia and you want to be there for the birth of your child, that's cool. I take issue with is when you have a home game, the baby was born yesterday or the day before, and you can't be away for 4 hours to go do your job. Like, that just doesn't sit well with me. When my kids were all born, I'm in the hospital writing NBA blurbs on a laptop with the baby and my wife in the bed next to me. Like, I still worked. I still got my stuff done. So I just, if the baby's healthy and everything's good, I don't need guys taking off 10 days of playing in a freaking game. I just don't. I don't.
Well, I take issue with.
Luka being in Slovenia. I'm cool with that.
I take issue with you saying there's only 3 ladies watching the show. There's way more than that. And they're listening to him as personal, so it could be completely something else. We don't know. Andre's just passing us along the news.
And there's probably also dudes that don't like my outlook. Like, man, family's more important than a job. It is. Hey, I get it, but just come on.
Of course. Yeah, there's balance to all things. Let's get to our Bruski 150 players of the night. I'm going to break out the Kyle Filipowski beam. 15 points, 8 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 threes. Yusuf Nurkic missed the front end of a back-to-back. And maybe this is the first sign that we see of Yusuf Nurkic finally starting to lose some of the grip, stranglehold even on the minutes over there and at the center position for Utah. Him and Kevin Love, the minute that they exit stage right, I think it's Kyle Filipowski's season. He's actually brought his value up over the last 4 games into the top 100 range. That's what we want. It's been a little bit down this season for Kyle, back into the top 200 range, as he hasn't really had a consistent role. And I think all the things he does on the floor are duplicated by guys like Yusuf Nurkic. And you got a lot of Keontae George and Lauri Markkanen out there that's been holding him back. But anybody who had him on their squad last season knows exactly how valuable he can be. So I'm stashing everywhere. It's a who you're going to add and drop kind of conversation. And if you guys want to send your questions to me at Aaron Bruski or send them to Doc at Dr. A, DOCKTORA, we would be happy to answer and get into the nitty gritty with you. My other player is Danny Wolf. Danny Wolf, everybody. I loved watching the film for Danny Wolf heading into this season because, like, on one hand, it was pretty easy to say, I don't think he's going to be a thing. But, hey, check that dude out. He's pretty big, and he's doing point guard stuff. 17 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, 3 threes. He doesn't get you any defensive stats. He had 28 minutes in this game. I don't know if he's going to keep it up. If he's playing this many minutes and he's getting these kinds of numbers and he's not getting any defensive stats, he's going to be in the back end of the late rounds for you. And why not, if you're Brooklyn? Just see what you can get out of this guy. Can you create? Everyone wants to invert the floor and have the offense come from the big because it's smart basketball. It really does open up the floor. And if that guy can hang and make that happen, then you go with it. And at the same time, there's all sorts of problems with this approach. And I talk about them all the time. There is another side of the floor on defense that guys got to play. But you're Brooklyn. You're trying to lose games. And why not see if you can get something to work here with Danny Wolf? So if late round value is something that you want to target, I think Danny Wolf can get that done for you. And there's also maybe a little bit of a pivot going on in Brooklyn. I don't want to get too far ahead of this, but like Ben Saraf was good in this one, 12 points, 3 steals, 1 block, 1 3. Of course, Clowney having consistency. That's a really big thing for a Brooklyn Nets player. And yes, you had Michael Porter Jr. out and Cam Thomas is out. And we're going to have to see what this entire season looks like when they get back here in the next couple of weeks. But a little reminder that Brooklyn may just have some good fantasy players in February, March, and April. So we'll keep an eye on that. Doc, feel free to jump in if you want. I probably got like one other thing I want to talk about before we get to ads.
Go, man.
You look like a silent man. Keyshawn George, not shooting well. I wouldn't worry about it, guys. Washington, right now, facing a lot of teams that want to win games. They kind of suck, obviously. I mean, not breaking any news there, but I think Keyshawn's shooting will get better as the season goes on. I do think there'll be some dead legs to contend with. He's going to have a lot of involvement on the basketball floor all season long, and playing on a bad team. It's a great way to have a bad shooting percentage, which will drag down the value. I don't think he's going to be anything worse than a mid-round value the rest of the way. But I think once the smoke clears for all whatever they're going to do with their vets, and then they get into the back end of their season and teams just take the night off against them is kind of the key point here. Keyshawn George will get back to being very, very good. I would not worry at all. I would not sell lowish if I have Keyshawn George. Doc, let's get to our top ads from last night. What you got?
Toronto Raptors. I'm going to try this, Brew. Bear with me. Sandro Mamukelashvili had 13 points, 8 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 8 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 3 3-pointers. Balled out over his last 4 games, 10 rebounds, or 10.6 boards, 1.3 blocks, and a 3-pointer per game. Those are numbers that play. He played 37 minutes in starting lineup. And I just think that if you need a warm body that is probably sitting on your waiver wire right now, Mamuk Kelishvili might be the way to go. Sandro plays for the Raptors.
Yeah, Sandro, bro. Yes, it is good. I like what he's done. I think he's had over 3 cash counters, steals, blocks, and threes per game over the last 4 games or so. I think that's brought him into the late rounds for value. Charlotte always giving it up. There's going to be a good potential for a good stat line there tonight. I don't know that it's going to last forever, but the fact is they like him there, and there's not really anybody pushing him for playing time. So I like that, especially for deeper leagues. I will take us to both an add and a drop at the same time. I think, Doc, I'm finally over Josh Minot. And I know, fair.
You think you're over Josh Minot.
The minute there's one good line, I'm probably back in. But Jordan Walsh deserves some credit here, guys. He had 22 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 3. He hit all of his shots. He played 29 minutes. And aside from the scoring, this is kind of a run-of-the-mill Jordan Walsh line. And what I think's been happening within the last couple of weeks is right when he gets up and over the cut line, he goes right back and down and under the cut line. And that's like, okay, it's Jordan Walsh. We're not expecting a lot out of him. And then he turns around and he does it again. And I think what we're seeing right now is Jordan Walsh has certainly jumped over Josh Minot in the pecking order in Boston. So that's why Josh Minot's not, and that's not breaking any news, but that's solidified now. It's something I think they're talking about openly in Boston. I think they're talking openly about Jordan Walsh's mini breakout. And you got teammates like Derek White was talking about it, saying, look, this guy never got any opportunity, which is true. That team was stacked for a very long time. And then this season, when I was watching Jordan Walsh, the concern I had for Josh Minot looking at early season games was he seemed to have graduated from a guy that I thought was too slow to now a guy that's not too slow. He's definitely got the ability to use the size to his advantage. And now he's actually something of an asset on the floor. So Jordan Walsh has been over inside the late rounds for about a month now. He's been almost a mid-round guy over the last week. These numbers are pretty leveraged in the good percentages department. So like if you're in a head-to-head league and percentages don't matter to you, Jordan Walsh probably won't be as good of a pickup. But he's getting you cash counting stats, in the ballpark of about 3 per game, and that plays in roto leagues, that plays in deeper leagues. So I like Jordan Walsh as a pickup in roto leagues and deeper head-to-head leagues. Doc, who do you got next?
You mentioned it when I brought this guy up pregame. I cannot get over Saddiq Bey and his incredible consistency. Yes, he's probably already rostered. He should be rostered everywhere. I mean, he scored between 18 and 22 points in his last 7 games, all of them. There's no Herb Jones. There's no Zion Williamson for the foreseeable future. And Saddiq Bey is just going to go out there and cook every night. Sometimes he's double-digit rebounds. The assists have been decent. He gets steals. He hits threes, although he's 0 of 8 from downtown over his last 2. But, man, go get Saddiq Bey. I think he's the only thing that New Orleans can really count on the rest of the season. Like, he just seems locked and loaded for them.
Yeah, and he's got about a month of being at least a late round value, if not creeping into the mid round value territory during the good hot streaks that he rolls with. I think he's actually going to normalize and chill out and stop being so up and down and be more consistent. So
while we're here, what's your over under for Zion's games played this season?
Let's see. We're a quarter of the way through the season, so about 60 games left. I would say that Zion does not cross 30 games. And I would say probably if I had to throw an over-under on it, probably about 27 games. 27 games, and that might require a trade. Like, I think he's done in New Orleans. I think New Orleans is done with him. And a lot of people question whether or not you should hang on, or the drop advice that Zion. We were saying drop. Did I say drop Zion? Did you say drop Zion, Doc?
I feel like you started it, and I was like, yeah, man, if you want to drop Zion, drop Zion.
Yeah, I just don't see what the draw is, even in a head-to-head league. He's not getting it done for you consistently enough, and then there's all the deficiencies. So it is what it is. So yeah, I think it's good for even for Zion. Talk about this with Giannis the other day. Like, hey, you want to get out of here? You want to have a good next stage of your career? Like, don't play and get traded. And with Zion, it's like, hey, get out of New Orleans. Like, do everything you can to kind of look like a good asset and be a good soldier, and put word out into the in the NBA streets that, look, we're not playing this guy because we're gonna trade him. And if you guys want him, give us your best offer by X date. And we're all just moving on. And let's move on here. I think it's me. It's DeAnthony Melton time. Is it? Question mark. I don't know. All I know is well, I can tell you this factually. He had 14 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. But what I saw watching him play was a pretty quick and pretty skilled DeAnthony Melton. And that was a question I had coming back. It's like two different questions. Is one, can he even play at the level he has previously played at? And then two, can he keep it up and can he stay healthy? Well, I think we got question number one answered in this game. Yes, he's quick enough, and yes, the skill is there. The other thing that's helping this out is everybody else in Golden State kind of sucks right now. So Melton doesn't have a ton of competition to get in there and do the thing where he can bring you late round value. So I don't know if it's going to be consistent. And I'm not talking about DeAnthony Melton in prior terms where he could be a mid-round value or anything like that. This isn't the hype guy, DeAnthony Melton. This is are you looking for somebody to fill out the back end of your roster and hopefully you catch a live wire, DeAnthony Melton? So Doc, I don't know if you have any thoughts there, if you have any honorable mentions, but that's all I have to say about that.
The thing about DeAnthony Melton, and I'm not moving on him yet. I'm not buying in to this just yet, but it depends on Steve Kerr. If Steve Kerr likes DeAnthony Melton and is like, I am a DeAnthony Melton guy, then Melton might be worth grabbing, because I feel like the success of Golden State Warriors individually and in fantasy, a lot of it hinges on whether Kerr likes that guy or not, or whether that guy is a Kerr guy. And I don't know if DeAnthony Melton is or not. I'm guessing he is. But I am. He got my attention last night. I'm going to pay attention to what Melton does, and if he plays really well again tonight, then I might go grab him. But I don't know. It's intriguing to see.
Brandon Pajemski's really struggled this season, and does not look like he can hold down minutes, even if the numbers come from night to night. Whatever's happening there is what it is. Just like the quickness and the awareness and the playmaking, and then the kind of consistency of his shot, they're just not where they need to be. And he was supposed to be the guy mopping up a ton of minutes, and Buddy Hield is Buddy Hield at this point. So, and Al Horford is, kind of just hanging on out there. So there is space for somebody to be good. And if Melton can just stay healthy, I think he might. I'd give him like a 75% chance at this point to have late round value the rest of the way. And that's better than I thought the day before.
And Doc, then the last guy I've got, Neemias Queta, 17 points, a steal, 4 blocks for the Celtics last night. I know he's been kind of banged up. I don't know if he's rostered in every league he should be in right now, but if you need a big man, you've got an extra spot. I think Queta should be rostered in most places.
Yeah, he's a little easy to forget because he plays less than 24 minutes a game. He doesn't really pop off that often, though. Lately, he did have a couple pop games. 10 points, 8 boards, 2.1 combined steals and blocks, 66% from the field, top 80 in 9 cat leagues and 110 in 8 cat leagues on the season, which definitely plays, and he will be a B150 win for us. I will shout out Jeremiah Fears for his 27 and 6, 1 steal, 2 threes. We also have Jordan Poole returning. I have talked, I feel like, a lot about Jeremiah Fears, and I didn't think that was going to happen this year. But Jeremiah is a good basketball player who I like to watch, and he has some stat set issues. They're not insurmountable, but he can be very good if the whole thing shifts his way. And now we got Jordan Poole to contend with. I would call him a kind of late round value, but inconsistent, and also that upside comes in a couple months. Jose Alvarado, 13 points, three boards, 1 assist, 2 steals, 3 threes. I don't think he's more than a streamer, Doc, but man, what a good streamer. And I know I shouted him out yesterday and pat myself on the back here, but the just in general, like whatever, my predictions are kind of irrelevant here. Jose Alvarado can get in the game and do some damage. He could do it in like 20 minutes. So I like that a lot. And then Carlo Makovich returned 8 and 6 with 1 block. Is there anything going on in New Orleans that we haven't hit on that you would like to weigh in on, Doc?
I don't believe so. I think I'm good on New Orleans.
Nice. If you guys are liking the show, hit us up in the comments on our socials or videos and tell us what's been your favorite moment of the show so far. That's a fun one. Let's get into the drop zone here, Doc. I mentioned Brandon Pajemski earlier. Are you an outright drop for him, or what's up?
And I'm looking at Trace Jackson Davis. Got 4 minutes last night. Like, what? Come on, Steve Kerr. Like, Kerr does not like the guy. Brandon Pajemski got 20 minutes, had 6 points, hit 2 of 8 shots, missed all of his threes. Al Horford played 18 minutes, hit 1 of 8 shots, had 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 points. I don't even know. I cannot believe that Steve Kerr has ruined Al Horford. Like, Al Horford's not even usable this season. Like, I've got him in my 30 deep team. I had him in other teams. I just cut him there. Cut out Horford because he's only playing every other night, and then when he plays, he doesn't even get proper minutes. And Pajemski, if he can't ball out every night with Steph Curry out, then when is he going to ball out? Never. So I'm just kind of sick and tired of the Warriors and Pajemski, and especially Horford. Like, I'm done.
Without Steph Curry, the things devolve really, really quick out there. They got just, not even Draymond out there. So they're just playing basketball. They don't even know what they're running half the time. And it's really interesting to see how they navigate all of that. You'd think there would be some opportunity, but it's harder because these guys can't actually put it together. I'm watching or talking drop with Philly, but I'm not dropping Andre Drummond for sure. And basically just a quick update on how to handle this Philadelphia situation. Joel Embiid got out there. I thought it was pretty interesting. Joel, they really pushed his minutes. They didn't go over. I think he finished with 27 minutes, but like in terms of spurts, they've been a little bit like 4 to 5 minutes with him. This time they were pushing him for like 6 to 7 minutes out there. And it's whatever. I mean, he doesn't run on the basketball floor. So, whatever you're going to do with that long-term Philly is going to be interesting. He's good on offense. He can make shots. He's got some value there on the basketball court. However long he lasts, I mean, he might, the minute he has to run on the basketball floor might be his last minute out there because they're clearly protecting him. He's not allowed to run. In the meantime, Andre Drummond got the other minutes for the most part. He had 16 of them. Bona had just 6. So clearly in 6 minutes, you can't get fantasy value. So Adem Bona is a luxury stash in a roto league. In a head-to-head league, you'd have to be pretty much committed to a Drummond, Bona, handcuff, and playoff, kind of stash. Like you're looking at down the road in your fantasy playoffs if you're going to go that route, or in a roto league where his value can get really, really big pretty easily. You would look at a stash for Bona there, or again, it's the handcuff for both of these players. As far as Drummond with the standalone value, he had a bad game, but the good news with Drummond is he is the kind of player where the stats come to him. In this game, he just kind of hung around the periphery, and Joel Embiid's gravity of the ball just being around him and what it did for this team, it just kind of made Andre Drummond an afterthought. And that might be something to watch with Andre Drummond. If there are too many offensive players going for Philadelphia, it's possible that he just disappears for a game. But that's not really been his MO in his career. So I'm pretty much willing to give Drummond at least a game like this, if not multiple games like this, to see him get it back, because he's been a top 75 guy for the most part this season until this injury hit. And the injury, while it's important, I don't think it impacted his numbers here. He was moving around the court really, really well. In fact, I haven't seen him run like this since maybe his like first 5 seasons of his career. So it wasn't the injury, it was literally the deployment. So if you want to factor that into your thinking with Andre Drummond, that would be fine as well. Doc, who would you like to talk about for drops?
Well, I'm gonna retract my earlier statement when we were talking about Draymond Green being out, and you're like, who's the guy you're picking up? And I said Trace Jackson Davis. I'm scratching that. I want Quentin Post. I don't trust TJD under Kerr, so I'm stuck on Quentin Post right now. And then let's talk about. I had Drummond and Bona written down as well. We talk about them every day, so I think you did a good job of covering that. I think the bottom line is if Joel Embiid's playing, you don't really want to mess with Drummond. And if Joel Embiid's out, you want Drummond in your lineup. It's simple math, as Manchester Orchestra once sang. Ace Bailey was bad last night, dude. Like, I don't have the box score pulled up in front of me, but it was not pretty. Where did he go? Here we go. So I guess the reason I'm bringing him up is not because I think you should drop Ace Bailey after a bad game, because his game before that, he filled the stat sheet with all kinds of goodies, even if it was minimized by not a huge outpouring of points. Last night was 5 points and really nothing else. He had 2 rebounds and nothing else. So bad game for Ace Bailey. But I think that's just a reminder that this kid's a rookie. He did play 25 minutes. He had 4 fouls. He's probably in a little foul trouble there. I was expecting more against Brooklyn because Brooklyn gives it up. But just don't panic on Ace Bailey. I expect him to fully bounce back in his next game.
Yeah, when these players that aren't consistent, they have these down games, you're kind of looking for like, was there something that was an extenuating circumstance involved? And Brooklyn is basically a walking extenuating circumstance. And you also had 38 shots for Keontae George and Lauri Markkanen, and that will leave a mark in a box score. So that, and then the game not being all that competitive, and I'd say until the fourth quarter, they got to the fourth quarter, and it was tight a little bit. But it's just not a competitive circumstance there, and too many shots for those two guys, and they did what they were supposed to do. So I will not drop Ace Bailey over that game. I would like to at least just mention Derek Queen, a big fantasy topic: 12 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 29 minutes. It's like the whole hum number. It doesn't give you any real feel for, is this a breakout or is it just a normal line? I would say this is an opportunity to buy low on Derek Queen. It just throws a little bit of dust in the air as to whether or not he's going to actually have a breakout. And I think that all the stuff we talk about all the time, the big bet on the draft pick and all of the stuff that's gone into the Derek Queen discussion in New Orleans, they've got to let this guy play, and they got to really let him have the ball and cook. And we'll see that more and more as the year goes on. Doc, did you have any other honorable mentions that you'd like to go through?
No, I'm good. I think we just did a show.
Oh, boy. Well, the fun thing here is I just got to get us out the door. But I will actually mention that Jared McCain is both playing well and not producing. That's the one thing I want to get to. Yeah, it's VJ Edgecombe had a big night, and he went for 7 points, 3 assists, and McCain went for 7 points, 3 assists, and 1 3. And I think people are looking at that and saying, hey, is this worth holding? And I would tell you this: he's a good basketball player that needs a little bit of help in the box score, meaning other players need to get hurt and get out of his way so he can get up to, say, 27, 28 minutes. And if he does that, you'll have something of an AJ Mitchell experience with him. But at this point in time, I'm okay dropping Jared McCain because I don't know that you guys can bet on that injury happening anytime soon. All right. If you enjoyed this episode, the best way to keep this content coming is super simple. If you're listening on the pod feed, take 60 seconds and drop us a 5-star review. It helps us a ton. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up and subscribe so you never miss a new episode. That's going to do it for Fantasy NBA today. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Doc. Thanks to the content team, for Steve and Andre and all of us here at Sports Ethos. We will be right back with our preview of tonight's slate. This has been Fantasy NBA Today, presented by FanDuel.